Welcome to another episode of Final Forecast with me, your host, Jay Flo, Super Financial Advisor. KJ is in Japan land. He had to work today, had practice, so he won't be here. Him and Ash are just taking turns. But our lovely co-host Ash.
Why do we hear shouting? Am I being
it's not
shouted at?
it's not coming from my house, but lovely co-host Ash is here.
That's me.
Makes 2 shows in a row. That's big time.
I know, man. Getting back into the swing of things.
Super producer Dave is on standby for some reason.
Hello.
He's making all types of. What was that, Dave?
What?
The ruckus
That
you're
noise.
making.
Oh, sound effects. I'm a child with sound effects.
It's a great place to try out new sound effects, Dave, while we're recording a podcast.
Hey, Ash.
Oh, Kirk.
A lot happened this weekend, but before we get to that, we want to, and we kind of forgot about this last episode. Rest in peace to our guy, James Earl Jones.
Oh, the best voice by far of our
Was he-
lifetime.
Was he sick or something? Or he's just old?
He was 91? Like he was up there.
Yeah. So some movies he did, what, Darth Vader.
He was Darth Vader's voice, Simba's dad, so
Lion
Mufasa.
King.
Oh my god, dude, he did so many iconic voices. That deep voice, and also, who can forget Coming to America? One of his best roles. Loved him in that.
Sandlot.
Oh my god.
Another classic movie. So he just had a bunch of classic movies.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to say R.I.P. to that guy. He kind of made my childhood growing up.
I think he made a lot of our childhoods.
They said he was the voice of God.
On what
do you-
was he the voice of God? Morgan
I mean,
Freeman
just
did
in
God a
general.
lot. Oh, he is see. That's what I'm telling you. He had one of the best voices ever.
Was he on
Did you
State Farm commercials too?
What commercials?
State Farm?
No, that's the other guy. Oh, he's got that real deep. What's his name?
Oh, yeah. It's the other guy, yeah. I know you're talking about.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's had such a career. He's probably done commercials for literally
Oh.
everybody. He also reprised his role for Darth Vader in Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series on Disney Plus, and he worked with Disney and an AI company to create a digital duplicate of his voice so that he would get to still voice the role of Darth Vader, and they were able to fill in gaps where he just wasn't strong enough to perform certain things. And they've already used it in series already, so you haven't noticed it.
Wow.
Listen, I'm
So
not
he's-
surprised. I've played around with some of this newer AI voice technology, and it is spot on.
That's scary.
As long as you have a minute of someone's clean voice, you can make them say just about anything. And if you know their intonations, like the way they speak, you can like change the settings to make it sound exactly like them. Like it's wild.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm for the scammers.
That's what's scary. You gotta know who you're talking to.
Yeah. But yeah, James Earl Jones, he came to one of my WVU games. We hung out afterwards. We went to Bent Willie's after the game, stuff like that. So
James Earl Jones
RP.
was at a football game.
yeah, I know. We went to the football game out there.
For the opening of Milan Pushkov Stadium. You were there.
What?
No. This is when I was in school. He didn't want anybody to know, so
Oh, he was totally undercover. I guarantee James Earl Jones came into this town and nobody noticed.
yeah. So, but there was an incident. We were at Kegler's and like someone spilled the drink on him. He got up and started yelling, and then everybody like noticed his voice. So we had to get out of there real quick.
Guaranteed.
Give
It was
me
like
some
God
shots.
called out.
He was like, "You incompetent." He said something like that, and we had to get out of there quick. But yeah, shout out to him, man. We had a good time that night in Morgantown. I wasn't supposed to tell anybody, but
Everything
That's
the light
crazy.
touches is downtown.
he's gonna get paid through the grave. That's tough. Sheesh.
Yeah,
I mean,
his family's
family
gonna be making royalties out the wazoo.
for a long time. Like I don't see them ever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
sheesh.
I mean, you're the voice of Darth Vader, man.
Yeah, that's inspiring.
And the
I wish.
only, right? He's the only voice of Darth Vader. No one else has ever done that voice. So it's all him.
Yeah, that's tough. That's inspiring.
It really
Shout out to
is.
him.
Do you think that that opens up like a Pandora's box though? Of like, do you think that if the family's okay with it and the actor is okay with it, that that's fine? But like, what about some of these actors that have like passed on? Like Peter Cushing was an actor in Star Wars, the first one, and they digitally reanimated him to perform a whole new movie after he's dead. Like, do you think
I
there's like
think
a
if you're
cutoff? What do you think about that?
I think if you're that person's family at that point, you then have legal rights to their image. So I think it's your call.
Or
Do you think it's appropriate though? Do you think
I
it's
think
a
it can be
weird,
if the I mean,
disgusting
honestly,
area?
I would think it would be awesome. Like after my dad passed away, if he was like a famous actor and they're like, "Hey, we want to like use your dad's role, reprise it, and this is what we're going to do with it." I think it would be awesome to do that personally.
It's kind of icky.
yeah,
I don't know. It's just kind of icky. It's a new world.
it's up to the family. Like it's not up
I
to
didn't
us.
say it's not up to the family. I just think it's like this person's dead, but like I also understand that that's like a character on
That's it.
screen.
It's yeah,
Like
it's like
it's
a
just kind of
different thing. You know? It's like some people save like voicemails of their loved one after they pass and they go back and like
Mm,
listen to it. Like it's kind of like
yeah,
that, you know? I would if I could see my dad now, you know what I mean, in like a character that he played or something, like I would love to see that. I think it would be awesome.
true,
And like his legend lives on, you know?
true. That's why I record a lot of stuff, just random videos and stuff.
I'm just have to train an AI on John's voice. We could do it with Ash John. All the times that Ash did come to a show, we could just like dub her in on the times that she doesn't come in.
That's me.
You guys
That's
gonna
me.
type in
Fuck off. Fuck
things that I would
off.
fuck off.
What the fuck, man? No, I didn't go to the game. No, I didn't listen. No, I didn't listen. John.
Speaking of the game,
Mm,
did you watch the game, Ash?
I did.
So I mean, I watched here and there, caught the last quarter. I mean,
You're
I
bad
think
luck. You shouldn't have tuned in. I'm just kidding.
we went up when I tuned in, and then we lost. Like we
That's what was
pulled
crazy
away.
about it. We finally
Yeah,
go up and it's like, oh, okay, got this.
yeah.
And
So
then
I don't. Go ahead.
I don't have words personally. I don't even know what to say. That end play call, like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to, we got real conservative. I don't even know what that was.
Well, let's start from the beginning. What was the thought going into it? Did you think we had a chance? Like, did we look good to begin
Yes.
with? What were the positives
I
before
think
the
there's,
sub
first of
imploded?
all, there's always a chance. Number one. Number two, it's not like we got blown out. I mean, it was 34-38 final, right? However, two things to remember. Number one, fucking Pitt. We don't lose. We can't lose to Pitt. Although, should have known, because what are we, 2-1 again, or 1-2 with Neil Brown? Should have known.
1 and 2. I mean, we
Yeah,
could have
we've
flipped
only
it. It could
won
have been.
once. We've won once since Neil Brown has been coaching this team. Once.
I mean, it was tied up. It was even before. We.
But
This was
no,
the.
but it wasn't though. But prior to all this, we like, it's not like, actually, what is the overall? Let's look.
I see what you're saying. You're saying we are expected to win because it's Pitt, and
I
we
mean, I shouldn't say we're
historically.
expected to, but like it's we should give it
it's-
our all to give it our damn, you know what I mean? Like we need
So
to,
do you think they gave it their all? The team.
I don't even know what to say about that, because I don't know if the end of that game fell apart because of the players, truthfully, or if it's just bad play calling, because it seemed like we just weren't making the right play calls, which I say all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I mean, I got mixed feelings about it. So going into it, of course, you know, you don't want to lose the Pitt. We lost the Pitt in the TBT. That was coaching as well. Shout out to Chase
Mhm.
Holler. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we
Yeah.
never want to lose the Pitt, like you said. So
Yeah. I mean,
we
granted, I did look up the overall, and I mean, I guess maybe we're expected to lose. Our record against them is 41-63.
to who?
But I don't think that Pitt's a better team than us. I don't
To Pitt? Our record, hold on. Our record overall to Pitt is 43 to 60.
41-63
Them?
them.
Really? That's an interesting fact. I didn't know that. They must have
Yeah.
been really good back in the
I
day.
thought
Huh?
it was way closer, but no. I mean, apparently they beat us a lot.
They're the football school.
Yeah.
The more you know. So, I
Mhm.
mean, the thing that is unexcusable to me is just get blowing the lead up 10 with, you know, 2, 3 minutes, 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
So I asked Twitter, like, what is that equivalent to? Because I don't really know, like basketball. I said, someone put this in basketball language for me because I don't really understand football. I mean, they basically said that it's the equivalent of, and we actually did this to Pitt. We were up by like 10 with like a minute left and lost at Pitt. So,
Oof. Yeah,
and
that's
and
rough.
that's why I have another other feelings on it too. Like that had nothing to do with Coach Hug. Like it wasn't coaching. It had everything to do with the players and how we were playing and executing the game plan. So everybody's calling for Coach Neil Brown's head, and you know, pray for Coach Neil Brown. It's terrible for any coach to be in this position. You know what I mean? Like I know he wanted to win the game. No one goes out there and loses on purpose. But at what point do you like? What percentage of the? It's a different sport. It's not basketball. So what percentage do
Mhm.
you put on coaching, and what percentage do you put on the players?
Football, a lot of times, I think lies a lot more with coaching because unlike football, or unlike basketball, I should say, like basketball, like, yeah, you guys know the plays and stuff, but like you set, and I'm not saying that football doesn't do this in some respects, but it's not quite the same thing. Like you guys go out there and you play together, right? Like you make your decisions. You guys set your things up. Like you're more on your feet, I think is the word I'm trying to say, or the phrase I'm trying to say. Football, you got to play. There's a play being called and you're going to make that play happen. So there's certain plays that get called during certain times. And what's wild is that I was reading earlier, I can't remember what the yardage was. We gave up like maybe 11 yards is like what we were giving up. And that final 4 minutes was like we gave up 75 and then went three and out. Like that's completely contradictory to the rest of what we did that game. And
Hmm.
at what point do you make a better play call? Like that's what I didn't understand. It felt
What do you mean we gave up 11 yards? Like explain that.
so oh, actually, here I had the article still on my phone. So when we were leading 34-24, there was 4:55 left. Okay, the
Mhm.
Mountaineers had only allowed 4 yards on
Four
11 offensive plays that Pitt had played. We only allowed 4 yards, which is a lot, like nothing.
for the game? I'm so
We're talking
confused.
about for like okay, so 11 plays, 11 offensive. Sorry, on 11 offensive players. We'd only allowed 4 yards. Our defense
Oh,
was playing really fucking well, is what I'm trying to say.
okay.
Four
They
yards.
gave up
That's all we were allowing
they
on
gave up
all
24
their
points.
offensive players, right? And then and that was in the second half. And then all of a sudden, we give up
Uh-huh.
a 75-yard touchdown in 1 minute 49 seconds. And then we proceeded to go three and out and lose 7 yards. Like
Yeah.
it's like the fucking wheels fell off.
Yeah, like that's to me that's more on the players. Like if you're playing well the whole game and then you start having breakdowns, especially defensively, like are there defensive plays in football? Like are we
Yes.
like did we
Yes.
switch anything like in defense? I don't think we switched anything. that like why would if he did switch something on defense, why would he do that if it was working the whole game? I honestly don't think it was working the whole game because they gave up 24 points, so 3 touchdowns. So it just seemed like a sloppy overall game. But
I
like
mean, I'm not
I
saying
just
that we played great the whole game, but when you're up 10 points with
yeah,
barely 5 minutes left in the game,
yeah.
it's
So
just
you're saying
odd.
it's more on coaching.
I do, because I feel like the play calling it just didn't make sense. Like, I don't understand why it felt really conservative. At that point, it's fucking run and gun, make it fucking happen. We have no time left, and our defense needs to show all the way up. And it's like, it just fell apart. And I don't know.
It's kind of tough though. Like
It is tough
you're
to
up.
look at. We're placing a lot of blame on the coaching staff, but it's also at some
It's
point when all the experts are saying the same thing and the fans are saying the same thing, there's truth to it.
yeah. Again, I don't know shit about football. But yeah, it's kind of tough, like putting yourself in that shit. Like I can see why you would be conservative up 10. Like you want to run the clock out, right? Like if you run
That's
the
it.
ball, the clock is running.
That's it. And we go 3
So
and out?
if you pass though, the clock stops, right?
No. If you complete the pass, yes. If you're over yardage, you know what I mean? Like if you get your first down.
Yeah. So I mean
Which
on
actually, I think
offense,
wait a minute, did they change that rule in college football?
no clue.
You might have to go out of bounds now. But either way, it's not like impossible to happen. But the key is
So
if you're trying to run the clock, you run the ball. It
yeah.
wastes time. It's a time waster.
So that's what he was doing. I'm pretty sure that's what they were doing. They were running the ball, and he just wasn't getting anywhere. Like he didn't
Yeah.
run it effectively. Like Pittsburgh's defense was on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Well, then that raises the other thing. If they're on it, then that doesn't mean we continue to run it.
yeah,
Or
I
you
didn't
put
understand like
2
running up the
running backs
middle
out there
on
and
third
give it to
down.
somebody. Fuck, we have a quarterback that runs like a motherfucker.
Do we play shotgun? Not shotgun. What's it called? What did Pat White play?
I don't know.
The option
Well,
offense,
yeah,
whatever it's
we
called.
do that too, but we
The
don't do it as
Wildcat.
much.
Wildcat.
Air raid.
That's what it was.
I don't think it's
We
called
play-
Wildcat.
It's something. Whatever they do. But yeah, so I guess that leads us to our next segment. We had the idea of just letting frustrated fans just get on and vent their frustrations. So we're going to get a running clock. How long is a running clock?
How much is our running? Our clock's gonna be 5 minutes.
5 minutes? You want to give them 5 minutes to just get on and rant?
That's a lot.
All right.
I know.
It is. I mean, it's a work in progress. We can cut it down after a while. So we'll give him 5 minutes
Mm-hmm.
to come on here and say whatever he wants to say. And this is a random fan that we found on Twitter. This is Twitter, Dave, or Facebook?
Yeah. Twitter.
Social media. So I know a lot of fans on Twitter, especially Twitter, they think that they're coaches and they would have did this and they would have did that. So we want to hear from them. We're not going to interrupt. And we're just going to let them go. What do we name this segment? What do we come up with?
Cast your feelings.
Cast your feelings with the final.
Cast your feelings.
The final forecast your feelings.
It's
Or-
time to open up or shut up.
Oh
or
my god, you and your radio
fan-
voice.
What is it?
Yeah.
Fan Fury.
I don't know.
I love that. Right now, it is Fan Fury. It's final forecast Fan Fury.
I
Should
think
give
I
him
was
4
in my
minutes.
feelings.
Why do we give him 4 minutes? That makes better
4
sense for us.
Yes, it does. 4 minutes on the final forecast to cast your feelings.
To cast your feelings. Let us know how you feel. It's okay. You can cry. We're here for emotional support. We're
Yeah,
here
and
for
like-
each other. I was gonna say it's like an emotional therapy session. We're here for each other. Hi, my name's Ashley, and right now I'm not a Neil Brown fan. Hear me out.
That's how we
Outrage
should
Anonymous.
do it, huh? Like
Again,
anonymous, like
it's Rage Anonymous.
Rage Anonymous. That's tough. I like that actually. Rage Anonymous. Anonymous. I like that. I think we should
Rage
go with that.
Anonymous.
I
Tell
like
us how
that.
you feel. We're here for each other.
But I think
And this
they'll
is
have a
great
lot.
because I want someone to give me their beginning and end, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, John and I, we watch football, but we definitely don't know the ins and outs as a
I
lot
don't
of
know
our
shit.
fans do.
I don't know shit about. I don't think a lot of fans know about the ins and outs of football. I think they just, I don't know. They think they know, but they don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a lot of Twitter courage. So I want to see that. But I'm not gonna lie. Like after this game, I was hurt. I was in my feelings. I just went on my porch and I got wasted because fans don't deserve that. Like that's kind of unexcusable. Like up
Yeah.
10 with 5 minutes left, you get everybody hopes up. Like it's kind of unexcusable.
Yeah.
Like a lot has to go wrong in that time, and
It literally
it's
would have had to have played out the way that it did. There's no other way for it to happen.
all I'm saying is a team is a team. Like you can't just blame the coach after every single loss,
You're
unless
right.
it's
You're
like
right.
blatantly, like so obvious that it's the coach's fault. Then, and I don't know
Yeah.
if it is or if it's not.
And
I
that's
don't
the other
know.
thing too, because we don't actually know what the play call was. We don't actually technically know what
Yeah,
that conversation looked like.
yeah. Does Green have options? Like, does he have the freedom to change plays? Does he have, you know what I mean? Like,
These are important questions to ask. I also am starting to wonder, it feels like they still don't trust him to chuck the damn ball. Am I crazy about, like, it feels like they don't really trust him to go all the way with that.
do you trust him?
I think I trust him more now than I did back then.
Or do you want Nico?
You know how I feel about Nico. That's unfair.
The future
What?
Pat White.
I'm not
Dave,
going
did
to
I
hide
say
my
that?
feelings about how much I love Nico, okay? Like, I'm not going to do it.
And that brings us to our next segment. That sounds like someone is at the door ready to rage anonymous with the final forecast. So this is the segment. We were talking about work in progress. We have someone here. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself or if you want to be anonymous. It's up to you. You have
I'm
4
yeah, I'm good.
minutes
I'm good
to
with
talk about
being
the Pitt game.
my name's Mitch Shaw. Some of y'all may recognize my name. I helped out this summer with the Best Virginia exhibition game here in Buchanan. Worked closely with Chase for a while on that and getting that put together. So had a really good time with that. But I'm excited to be a part of this.
All right, we'll put 4 minutes on the clock. And we're really doing this because I don't know if you heard us explain earlier, but a lot of people feel like they know everything about the game. They could do better than Coach Neil Brown on Twitter specifically. There's a bunch of Twitter coaches on there. They think they know everything about the game. So we want to hear that. We want everybody to keep that same energy, and we want to hear it. So we'll put 4 minutes on the clock. Dave, you got it?
We are good.
Go.
4 minutes is a challenge, but let me just start with the facts. So, in the last 6 years since Brown has been here, he is 26-31 when coaching FBS games. So that's basically peer competitors. Yeah, that's removing his 32-31 overall record. That takes out the the Duquesnes and the Long Island University teams and stuff like that. So against what should be peer competitors, he's only 26-31. He is 20-24 in Big 12 games. So losing record in both of those categories. He is 2-14 against ranked opponents. 2-14. Now I get that you're supposed to typically lose to teams that are better ranked than you, but to be 2-14, and most of those losses are blowouts. Last year we played 2 ranked opponents and we lost by a combined 60 points. That is not good. And the biggest stat of all is we're 1-2 against Pitt. 1-2 against Pitt, our biggest rival ever, and we're shitting the bed basically. So those stats actually got from @football_dude84 off of Twitter. So, but he had it as 25-31, and that was in Power 4 games. But I changed that to reflect all FBS games because one of those was a G5 game, I believe. So, bottom line, the career that Neil Brown has had here. I mean, those are all stats that you can look up. I mean,
That is true.
That goes back to, just pure hard numbers. The fact of the matter is, we haven't been ranked in anything, but we were ranked in the coaches poll, which is an unofficial poll, in after the bowl game last year. So that's the only time we've been ranked in the entire time that Neil Brown has been here. That is the longest period of time that we've been unranked in our history since like the 1930s or something. I can't remember the exact number, but it's been a long time that we've gone unranked. Well,
So
since Bolt's been out, basically.
So your rant isn't about the game, the Pitt game. It's about Neil Brown.
It's getting there, but you gave me 4 minutes. That's
He said, "I'm
that's a
warming
pretty
up."
long time.
That's it.
All right.
4 minutes is a long time, but
You're right.
Yep.
Continue.
so, but why I think so many people are so frustrated with where the trajectory of this team has been taking us is, and we saw it in the Pitt game. Neil Brown is afraid. He plays to not lose. He doesn't play to win the game. He plays to not lose. He's just out there to avoid losing. He's not trying. He doesn't have that cutthroat mentality. He doesn't have that step on your neck when you're down mentality. The perfect example of that mentality is Tennessee this past weekend. They were playing some G5 no-name team. They were up like 35 points in the first half, and they kicked an onside kick to get the ball back and continue to throttle that team. That is the kind of mentality that you need to have as a coach. That is cutthroat. That is, I am going to win this game, and I don't care about your feelings.
It's just bad sportsmanship. Go ahead.
Okay, shake hands afterwards. That's great sportsmanship. But when you're playing and you're competing, I mean, do you think that the gladiators cared about sportsmanship? It was live or die. So, I mean, they talk about football being a gladiator sport. This is, it's, the most brutal sport other than hockey probably out there.
It goes both ways, though. When we're playing Penn State and they're kicking, timeout, my bad. When they're kicking an all-size kick when they're up by 30, don't complain about that, because I'm pretty sure Twitter fans would be complaining about that too.
And
go ahead,
maybe Twitter fans would, but as a true fan, you got to understand, if you're the better team, you act like it. You don't go out there and give them a chance, because we opened the door for Pitt. We were up by 10 with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left in the game. Pitt had the ball, and they were. It was a second down and 30 with 3:15 left in the game. And they converted for a 40-yard touchdown pass. We had 3 guys around the receiver that caught the touchdown pass, and not a single one of them knocked the ball down. And that is because, and it's already been said in multiple press conferences this season, Neil Brown and his DB's coaches teach their defensive backs to play the receiver and not the ball. They don't look back for the ball. They're watching the receiver, and instead of turning around to look for the ball to try to intercept it, they're trying to react by this receiver throwing his hands up to catch the ball, and then they're playing and trying to knock the ball out of their hands. That literally leaves your players in no way, shape, or form able to make a good play on the ball. It results in more opportunities for pass interferences, which we saw several of them in key moments in the game. And then what happens? We give up a 40-yard touchdown pass on 2nd and 30. They go down only by 3. We go on the very next drive, run 3 plays, because Neil Brown doesn't know how to step on people's throat. We run 3 plays up the middle, lose 7 yards on 3 plays, punt the ball back, and give Pitt the ball back, and then they drive down and win. And 4 minutes and 55 seconds left in the game, we were up by 10. We give the ball back to Pitt. At 3:15, that's when they scored that 30-yard or 40-yard touchdown on 2nd and 30.
All right. So
Our
60,
team is
60
not
seconds.
playing to win the game. They are coaching fearfully. They're coaching because they're afraid to lose. They're not going out there, and this is what really drives me nuts is this week, because Neil and all these people are probably calling for his head now. This week we'll probably go out and beat Kansas by 30, because when he's backed up against the wall in the last 4 years, every time people start murmuring about wanting him to be fired, he starts actually coaching and being aggressive. He'll do this for a couple weeks, and then in a couple more weeks, when he's won a couple games, he's going to go back and be conservative again. He is far too conservative. He doesn't play to win the game. You play to win the game, as Herm Edwards says. You just have, like, it's just so frustrating to watch and know, because I even texted it to a group chat of mine. I was like,
10
watch,
seconds.
it was 4 minutes, 55 seconds. We were up by 10, and I was like, we're going to lose this game. And then they scored a touchdown, and I was like, we're going to go 3 and out and give them the ball back, and they're going to win. And then we went 3 and out. We gave them the ball back, and they went and won. So it's just
So
at
final
the end
remarks.
of the day. Go ahead, John.
Final remarks. End of the day. Wrap it up. It's
Okay.
I don't know if he went over time. Dave's supposed to be keeping track of the time, but
We're over 4 minutes, but we're going to let him go anyway. But
Yeah,
so
he's a
final
super
takeaway.
producer.
What's your final
No,
takeaway?
I've been looking at the time. It's been 5 minutes, but we had some Wi-Fi issues, so I was just
Well,
letting you take over.
Okay.
Stupid.
It's fine.
So yeah, final takeaway. It just at the end of the day, we have too many weapons on offense.
Yes.
And too many key players on this team, seniors that are going to be gone after next year. Wyatt Milam is a first round draft pick. We have Garrett Green, who's a beast, but he is not being allowed to play to his strengths. If Neil Brown doesn't allow Garrett Green to continue to play to his strengths, to run, to scramble, motion, or roll out of the pocket and get him moving, to get him away from being in that pocket where he's the shortest player on the field. He can't see over these linemen. He can't throw over these linemen. There is no scheme that I've seen in these first 3 games that is telling me that Neil Brown knows that he has better athletes and better players. He is playing to not lose. He's not playing to win.
Do you think it's that? Do we think that's like the Troy mindset, where it's like, when they play against, I don't know, like an LSU, it is a play to not lose. Do you think that's where his mentality comes from? He doesn't have a Power 5 like mindset.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, the frustrating thing is, like, when he was the offensive coordinator for Texas Tech, he crushed us. He had like 450 yards as offensive coordinator against us as when he was at Texas Tech. He knows how to run a strong offense. I just think I think it's a bit of he's in over his head being the entire CEO of the team, so to speak. Where if he was just focused on being the offensive coordinator, I think it'd be so much more productive for him. I don't know that he's a Power 5 coordinator, but that's not for me to decide. I mean, there's people that get paid a lot more money than I do to, figure that out. But at the end of the day, like, we've seen successful coaches. Dana Holgerson coached here, and a lot of people didn't like his style, didn't like it. He hardly ever had any defensive, staff members or anybody that could do anything on defense. But his offenses were prolific. He could score with anybody, and they were fun to watch. The last 6 years of football has not been fun to watch. And
all right.
At the end of the day, it's got to be fixed.
Cut him off. It's over. Mitch, we appreciate you coming on. Maybe we gotta have you. We gotta have you on.
I feel like Mitch has some real therapy here.
Yeah. Nah. I think we need Mitch on, like, for football in general. Just
he does have a good breakdown.
I'd be happy to. I actually, listening to some of your podcasts, like, while I'm listening to you guys, I'm like, no, that's not actually true. Or, no, it's actually this. And I'm like, I wish I could call in and be like, hey, it's actually this. No,
we don't know shit about football on this podcast.
I wouldn't say don't know shit, but maybe our expertise is a little.
I should know some things. But
they're going to Tony Caridi for expert analysis. We just kind of color in around the
Listen,
image,
I have feelings, goddammit, and
they're dribbling the ball up the field. But
nothing but net.
Appreciate it, Mitch. I don't know how you blamed someone catching the ball. I didn't even think that would be possible. You blame someone catching the ball over 3 receivers on Coach Brown. That was wild. I never even thought that was possible. Like, that's crazy. That is wild.
But you know what?
But
Now that I'm looking at it, that's an interesting thing that you say, because if obviously that there has to be some type of truth to that, because
state your
even
source.
if you remember the Albany game when we got the call, the pass interference, and we're all yelling, like, turn around and look at the ball. Like, why are you not looking at the ball? Why are you looking at this dude?
Yeah, they're running straight through the receiver because they're not looking back to see where the ball is to try to knock it down.
Like,
I don't believe that.
You can't get picks if you're not looking at that ball.
I don't believe it. I don't even. They're teaching them something that's not even legal in the game.
It is legal.
It is legal.
I mean, it's just
right.
It's just a strategy. Because can I give you one more big nugget?
Yeah.
So the 2 defensive backs that we got from Northwestern was a top 25 passing defense last year.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 of their defensive backs. They played primarily man defense all season, and they thrived in that defense. Since they've come here, we play primarily zone defense. They are not playing to the players' strengths that are on the field.
Who does Northwestern
these guys out there, asking them to do things that they're not. That's not their talent level.
Yeah, so basically you're saying, like, they're like, oh, this is what we're going to do. Everybody conform to it, instead of being like, okay, these guys are good at this. If we did this, this would be successful.
Right, which I think out of today's press conference, Neil Brown said that there are going to be some changes in the defensive backfield. They're going to make schematic changes. Obviously, they didn't want to give Kansas any kind of clues on what they're going to do, but he did say they're going to make changes. So I think one of the big things that you can look for, he did mention that there's going to be different players playing. But at the end of the day, there's a scheme that is a problem. And you can't be one of the worst passing defenses in the country and realize, we have Power 5 talent. We shouldn't be one of the worst, especially when one of those teams is Albany and they had like 380 yards passing against us. That was crazy. Yeah. So
Neil's too nice, man. I don't know why he puts up with any of this. Like, he should get on Twitter and say, fuck all y'all. It's crazy.
Did you see what he said about Pat Narduzzi?
Who?
What'd he say?
Pat Narduzzi, the Pitt coach, after the game, Pat Narduzzi said that they beat WVU and the refs, and then they brought that quote to Neil, I think yesterday, and Neil said that's bullshit. So that's the most fire I've ever seen out of him. I didn't even know that he knew what the word shit was. I actually thought he would just say,
wow.
But yeah, he
Mr.
said, no, that's
Church
bullshit.
on Sundays cursed.
Right.
He really should just be like, F. Like, I'll be damned if he didn't cuss out those 3 receivers in the locker room after the game. Like, how do you're I don't even understand that. Like,
this is what we need from him. I hope he releases some heat.
He just needs to cuss people out. Like, he really needs to go in the locker room.
Huggins would make he would make freaking Hitler blush with the shit he would say.
I got cussed out for letting Steph Curry make a shot, and that was 1-on-1. Could you imagine 3 people on? Hugs probably would have fought the whole team. What?
Those are facts.
But Mitch, appreciate you coming on, man. We'll probably have you back on sooner or later, but appreciate you being the final forecaster.
Ashley broke something. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
So that was a new segment that we tried out. What did you think about the segment in general?
I think it works. I don't know that the time is going to really be effective because most people have no concept of time.
Yeah, we got to tweak it a little bit. We got to figure out. Dave has to do some producing, so
yeah. But I will say, overall, I think Mitch made some very good points.
He made some, He made the points that everyone's making on Twitter. I don't know, like I said, and I don't know how half of that stuff can be blamed on Neil Brown, but it is what it is.
I mean, I think the point he was making is that stats speak for themselves, right? Regardless if it was this game or not. It doesn't really matter. The stats speak for themselves. His stats don't live up to our norm. That's it. That's all.
Do they not live up to our norm? Are we just not a good team though? Like what
No,
what were we under
dude,
Holgerson?
no.
Yeah,
Anybody can
what's
tell
the
you that
norm?
there is talent on this team. There is no
No
doubt
one's saying
about
there's not talent, but holistically, what has been our record?
Yeah,
Like
what's the
we've
norm? What was
like
Dana's record?
our projection of ourselves is that we should be among the big guys, but
Yeah,
realistically, are we there?
yeah, yeah,
it. Okay,
yeah,
well
Will we
yeah.
ever get there?
let's talk about preseason leading up and how many people ESPN, etc. were like, West Virginia's a team to watch this year. There's promise here. There's
But that's
players that
one
have come back.
season. I'm talking like the whole arc of our.
Oh my God, what an
Wasn't it Rich
emotional
Rod that
you're gonna make
brought
me
us into
relive
the?
that trauma?
I guess he's saying compared to Dana, like what was Dana's record before he left here?
Let's
'Cause
look
it
it up,
wasn't,
shall we? So we know, okay.
and that's the last thing I'm talking about with
60,
regarding football.
61 41 record.
That
And
61-41 was his record.
Yeah.
and Neil is what?
26-31.
That's Neil's overall record.
Hang on, I think it was like 32-31, but still.
It was close.
Mitch is going to be
Oh.
listening in his car, being like, "Those mother got it wrong again."
hang on,
All right,
hang on.
I'm over.
I remember him saying
Whatever.
26-31. If you consider just the height, like the games that are important.
He broke up the conference games and some other shit. He broke up like he had all his Twitter stats going. I don't know,
So
but
he is 31-29. 31-29 at WVU.
and Hogerson was 61-41, something like that. All right, I'm over
But
it,
also,
bro.
Dana was here a lot longer.
Was he?
Also, defensive coordinator Jordan Leslie deactivated his Twitter account right after the game, so things are going great.
Good.
Listen, they've been calling for his head for a while, so I'm kind of not surprised by that one.
It's the life of being a coach. That's why I didn't. All right, over that. Some good news this weekend. Elite 8 reunion.
Oh,
For Elite 8 team. So we got some good old people coming back, like Mike Ganzi, Pat Beeline. I don't know if you used to party with them on High Street. They used to get after it. Darius
Kevin
Nichols.
Pittsnoggle coming.
Pittsnoggle is coming.
Nice.
Who else? Darius Nichols, Frank Young,
There was
Ted
a lot of guys on that.
Talkington,
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Smalligan, Rob Summers. So I think they're all coming back this weekend. It'll be a nice little reunion for the old guys. They'll be in bed by 10. Hopefully, I can go in and get some interviews, get some content for social media. That'll be a good time. Always good to hang out with the bros. I think they get announced on the field as well. Do you think the season is putting a lot of pressure on Coach DeVries now? Because everybody's like,
Fuck this football team? Yes. Yes, I do. I think a lot of people are like, can't wait till basketball season. Give me something.
I think
Sadly. Although I will say we shouldn't give up hope just yet.
Yeah.
Our
And
football season just started.
Managing expectations. It's a big part of my job, my current job that I have. Don't get too hype about basketball. It's his first year. We're all praying that he does well, but they will go through growing pains for sure.
Absolutely.
So,
and let's not take out our Neil Brown football frustrations on Coach DeVries. He just got here.
please.
Let's remember.
Let's give him some support throughout the season. That's how I am, kind of like we gotta go down with the ship that we're on. You know what I mean? Like the season started already. Like let's just see the coaches and teams through it. After the season, talk as much shit as you want about the coach, but right now I'm pretty sure they all need our support.
Yeah,
like
that's it.
This is not the time to do that. So, yeah, that's all I got.
Let's not forget that we also have the #1 men's soccer team in the country.
Ooh.
Who's the star player, Dave?
All of them, because they're all winners.
It was hilarious. Shout out to the soccer team. Shout out to the volleyball team. Volleyball is playing now. I gotta go catch one of their games.